CompTIA Tech plus FC0-U71 exam certification practice questions. Question 1. A developer is writing code and needs to store a value that can change as the program runs. Which programming concept should be used? Variable, constant, function, array. A variable is a namespace in memory used to hold a value that can change during program execution. This allows the program to update, reuse, and manipulate data as needed. Variables are essential to programming because they provide flexibility, making it possible to create dynamic applications that respond to changing inputs or conditions. Question 2. A software developer wants a section of code to repeat until a specific condition is met. Which programming concept should be used? If-else statement, loop, function, switch statement. A loop is a programming construct that allows a set of instructions to be executed repeatedly until a condition is met or no longer true. This is useful for tasks such as processing items in a list, checking input until valid data is entered, or running calculations multiple times. Loops reduce redundancy by avoiding the need to manually write the same code over and over. Question 3. An organization wants employees to collaborate in real time by hosting online meetings with video and audio. Which application would best meet this need? Email client, spreadsheet, word processor, conferencing software. Conferencing software allows multiple users to connect over the internet for live meetings, typically including video, audio, and screen sharing. This enables real-time collaboration regardless of the participant's physical location. Tools like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Meet are common examples of conferencing software. Question 4. An office has several computers connected within the same building, allowing users to share files and printers. Which best describes this type of network? WAN, MAN, LAN, PAN. A local area network, LAN, connects computers and devices in a limited area, such as a single building or office. LANs allow for fast communication, resource sharing, and centralized management. This setup is commonly used in homes, schools, and businesses where users need to share files, printers, or applications. Unlike WANs, which cover larger geographic areas, LANs are designed for high speed and reliability within a smaller space. Question 5. In programming, which data type is used to represent a single character, such as a letter, number, or symbol? String, Boolean, char, integer. A char, short for character, is a data type used to store a single symbol such as a letter, digit, or punctuation mark. It is distinct from a string, which is made up of multiple characters grouped together. Using char allows a program to efficiently handle individual symbols when processing text or data. Question 6. A developer needs to store phone numbers in a database. Which data type would be most appropriate to use? Integer, float, string, Boolean. A string is the best data type for storing a phone number because it treats the value as a sequence of characters rather than a numeric calculation. Phone numbers often include leading zeros, spaces, dashes, or parentheses that must be preserved. Integer data type removes leading zeros and does not handle special characters well, so storing phone numbers as strings keeps the format accurate and consistent. Question 7. Which peripheral can function as both an input and an output device? Mouse, touchscreen, keyboard, printer. A touchscreen is considered both an input and output device because it displays information to the user, output, while also registering touch commands, input. Touchscreens are commonly used in smartphones, tablets, kiosks, and point-of-sale systems. Their ability to handle both input and output simplifies device design and improves interactivity. Question 8. which method ensures that only authorized users with the correct key can access the contents of a file. Hashing, encoding, encryption, compression. Encryption secures a file by converting its data into unreadable code that can only be unlocked with the correct decryption key. This ensures that only authorized users can view the information even if the file is intercepted or copied. Because of this strong protection, encryption is widely used for safeguarding sensitive documents, emails, and financial transactions. Question 9. A database administrator designs a new database that organizes information into tables with rows and columns and sets a primary key to uniquely identify each record. Which type of database has been created? Flat file, NoSQL, relational, object-oriented. A relational database organizes data into structured tables that use rows and columns, with a primary key uniquely identifying each record. This structure allows efficient querying, updates, and relationships between different tables. Relational databases are widely used in business systems such as customer records or inventory management because they provide accuracy and scalability. Question 10. Given pseudocode with a for loop that counts down from 10 to 1 for x equals 10 to 1 step minus 1, which best represents line 10? If-else. Function. Array. Loop. Line 10 is a for loop because it repeatedly executes the block of code between the for and next statements. In this example, the loop prints the value of x as it counts down from 10 to 1. For loops are commonly used when the number of repetitions is known in advance, making them one of the most basic and essential programming structures. Question 11. A homeowner is frustrated with slow internet speeds when streaming movies and decides to upgrade to the fastest residential option available. Which service would best meet this need? DSL, cable, satellite, fiber optic. Fiber optic internet is the fastest residential option because it uses light signals sent through glass fibers to transmit data at extremely high speeds. It can easily exceed gigabit speeds, making it ideal for demanding tasks such as 4K streaming, competitive online gaming, and large file transfers. Fiber also offers low latency and consistent performance, giving it a clear advantage over cable, DSL, or satellite connections. Question 12. A user is working on a large spreadsheet, but the computer suddenly loses power before the file is saved. When restarted, the unsaved data is gone. Which component was reset when the computer was turned off? SSD, HDD, RAM, CPU. RAM, random access memory, is a type of volatile memory, meaning its contents are cleared when the computer loses power or is shut down. This is why unsaved work disappears if it has not been written to a storage device like an SSD or hard drive. RAM provides fast, temporary storage for active programs and data, but it cannot retain information without power. Question 13. A user is deciding between several hard drives for storing large media files. Which option would provide the greatest storage capacity? 500 gigabytes, 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes, 3 terabytes. A 3 terabyte hard drive has the largest capacity among the listed options. 3 terabytes equals approximately 3,000 gigabytes, which is far greater than 500 gigabytes, 1 terabyte, 1,000 gigabytes, or 2 terabytes, 2,000 gigabytes. Terabytes are the standard unit for measuring large storage capacities in modern hard drives. Question 14. A developer designs a program where an object needs to fetch order details from a sales database. Which part of the object is responsible for performing this action? Property, method, attribute, field. A method is the part of an object that performs an action, such as retrieving order details from a database. In object-oriented programming, methods define the behavior of an object. By using methods, developers can organize code into reusable actions tied directly to objects, making programs easier to manage, update, and scale. Question 15. A help desk technician suspects that a faulty driver is causing frequent application crashes. According to troubleshooting methodology, what should the technician do immediately after identifying this possible cause? Test the theory. Document findings. Implement the solution. Escalate the issue. The next step after identifying a potential cause is to test the theory to confirm whether it is correct. Troubleshooting methodology follows a structured sequence. Identify the problem, establish a theory, test that theory, and only then create a plan of action. Testing ensures that time and resources are not wasted on a solution that doesn't address the real issue. Question 16. A student logs into an online learning portal and clicks a link to open a practice quiz. Instead of the quiz appearing in a new window, nothing happens. Which browser setting should the student adjust? JavaScript settings, cookie settings, pop-up blocker, cache settings. A pop-up blocker prevents websites from automatically opening new windows or tabs. While this protects users from intrusive ads, it can also block legitimate content such as quizzes, reports, or login prompts. To fix the issue, the student must change the pop-up blocker settings to allow the site's pop-ups. Question 17. A user notices their computer slows down significantly when they open several applications at once. Which component is most likely responsible for this performance issue? CPU, SSD, RAM, GPU. RAM, random access memory, is responsible for holding active applications and data that the CPU needs quick access to. If there is not enough RAM available, the system slows down because it must rely on slower storage as overflow space. This is why performance issues are common when multiple programs are running on a device with limited RAM. Adding more RAM can improve multitasking and overall system responsiveness. Question 18. A technician asks a student to provide the MAC address of their laptop's network interface card. Which is a valid MAC address? A 4:7C DB 92:1F 36 192.168.1.100 0018B3C40 255.255.255.0. A valid MAC address is commonly written as 6 pairs of hexadecimal characters separated by colons or dashes, such as A4:7C DB 92:1F 36. Each hexadecimal character represents 4 bits, giving the address a total length of 48 bits. This standardized format uniquely identifies a device's network interface card on a local network. Question 19. An employee needs to deliver a 50-gigabyte presentation file to a teammate across the building, but the office network is temporarily unavailable. Which is the most practical way to transfer the file? Email attachment, flash drive, cloud storage, Bluetooth. A flash drive is the most practical option for transferring a large file when the network is unavailable. Flash drives can store large amounts of data, are portable, and do not rely on internet or network connectivity. This makes them ideal for quickly moving files between devices in the same physical location. Question 20. A computer science instructor explains that programmers often use simplified human-readable steps to outline how a program should work before writing actual code. Which term best describes this practice? Algorithm, pseudocode, flowchart, syntax. Pseudocode is a way of writing out program logic in plain human-readable language without worrying about syntax rules. It helps programmers plan and communicate their ideas before converting them into actual code. By using pseudocode, developers can focus on problem solving and structure rather than specific programming commands. Question 21. An office worker tries to update a device driver on their Windows PC. A prompt appears requesting a username and password. After entering their own credentials, the employee receives an access denied message. Which type of account access is most likely required? Guest, administrator, standard user, power user. Administrator access is required to make system-level changes such as installing software, updating drivers, or modifying key settings. Standard user accounts are restricted to protect the system from unauthorized or accidental changes. By requiring elevated permissions, the operating system ensures only trusted users can perform actions that affect overall system stability and security. Question 22. An employee is tasked with creating a formal company letter that includes paragraphs of text, a company logo, and formatted headers. Which type of application is best suited for this task? Spreadsheet, database, word processing, presentation. Word processing software is designed for creating, editing, and formatting text-based documents. It allows users to add elements like fonts, headers, tables, and images to produce professional documents such as letters, reports, and resumes. This makes it the most appropriate tool for handling tasks that involve writing and formatting text. Question 23. A computer science teacher asks students to compare how the decimal value 12 is represented in different notational systems. Which system would represent this value using the fewest characters? Binary, octal, hexadecimal, decimal. Hexadecimal uses base 16, which allows larger values to be represented with fewer characters. The number 12 in decimal is written as C in hexadecimal, requiring only one character. In comparison, 12 is 1,100 in binary, 4 characters, 14 in octal, 2 characters, and 12 in Roman numerals, 3 characters. Each digit in hexadecimal can represent up to 16 distinct values, providing the most compact representation. Question 24. A user is shopping for a new gaming monitor and compares specifications that include refresh rate. Which unit of measurement would the refresh rate be listed in? Megabytes, gigahertz, frames per second, hertz. Hertz HZ is the unit of measurement used to describe a monitor's refresh rate, meaning how many times per second the screen refreshes the displayed image. A higher refresh rate, such as 120 Hz or 144 Hz, produces smoother and more fluid motion compared to standard 60 Hz displays. This is especially valuable in gaming, where fast-moving graphics benefit from reduced blur and improved responsiveness. Question 25. Which of the following is a valid IPv4 address? A 4:7C DB 92:1F 36 001A2B3C40 192.168.1.256 192.168.1.100. A valid IPv4 address is written as 4 decimal numbers separated by periods, with each number ranging from 0 to 255. 192.168.1.100 follows this format, making it a correct IPv4 address. MAC addresses use hexadecimal pairs separated by colons or dashes, and 192.168.1.256 is invalid because 256 exceeds the maximum value of 255.